Fresh was taken by surprise. Never in a million years would he hear the Cybermen ask for orders.
We are defective. We wish to be our cause.
The defective idea also stemmed from the season finale of season 2 of Doctor Who, where one woman who was part of Canary Wolf actually turns on the Cybermen after her brain is implanted into one of their suits, and you can actually see her start to tear up as she starts gunning them down.
Diana Goddard, that was.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how these Cybermen are good. It's because they're defective in the same way as her.
Seriously? Well, okay then. But what could I possibly assign them to?
That noise you heard, that was the Arthur flashback.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's the Arthur flashback sound. And the sound that you hear when the flashback ends is actually the same noise that happens after Arthur's own flashbacks end.
You know, I swear, I think they must have used the same sound effect in Mona the Vampire, if you ever watched that.
Yes, I did. God, it's been years.
Yeah, I know. Flippin' catchy theme tune, though. Right.
She's a nice, normal girl with an extraordinary heart. Voice crack.
But, I mean, I don't know why, but I'll say, they're still playing Arthur today.
Yeah, it's pretty darn incredible.
Daleks do not accept apologies. We have stolen your original character, Fresh Powder.
We've stolen your original character, Fresh Powder, seeing as you failed to provide your watchers with an alternate identity.
Yeah.
But the last sentence was the start of a new sentence.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny when you cut, and I was like, the way, when I hear it back to myself, it's easy to make that mistake.
Yeah.
Even if you interpret it that way.
Yeah.
But,
the sentence, in case you don't know, is, "We will henceforth refer to you as Fresh Dan." The reason that I cut that out is because, you know, I didn't think that was relevant in this part of the story, so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it didn't matter. But I suppose something I can bring up right now, because we're here, is when I made those first two videos, I never realised your character was meant to be your alter ego. So I was making them like, I was like, you were saying stuff like, you escaped rather than Fresh Powder escaped, and that's when I twigged, and I was like, huh? Oh, okay, so I had to try and work around that afterwards. But
I didn't think he knew he was a giraffe back then. You just thought he was just a pony.
I did.
Yeah.
I don't think at least I never said it in the video. I mean, but it's because he does look like, first impressions, he looks like a My Little Pony character.
Yeah. Easy to say that.
Seeing as you have failed to provide your watchers with an alternate identity.
And that's a repainted Grinch face from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, when he has his horrible, evil idea.
I did like that touch when you had it. It was pretty funny.
That joke was actually based off another My Little Pony video I saw. When MLP meets Slenderman, long story. Where basically one of the characters basically dons that face when he gets the idea of scaring another character. And I just had to use it.
Well, they actually had the ponies meet Slenderman.
Yeah. In case you're wondering what channel I'm talking about, it's Toucan LDM. He's one of my favorite editors, and he's actually the main inspiration in certain places.
I thought you meant they actually did it in an episode. I was like, what?
No, it's the fandom. The fandom does a lot of weird stuff. Stuff that I won't mention.
Oh yeah, I could pull off a payback prank on snakestaff magic. Yeah, Cybermen, hear me. Your objective is to get payback on snakestaff magic for imprisoning me. Follow me. Forward march.
You may have noticed that Fresh Powder is seen wearing the scarf throughout this episode. For those of you who don't know, the scarf was given to Fresh Powder as a gift for surviving the Daleks during your tribute video, I believe. So yeah. Yeah. This shot was kind of boring, where Fresh and the Cybermen sort of walk off. I feel like that went on for a bit too long.
Oh, it was alright. I mean, but I thought, that sort of, it was a bit like where you thought the episode was going to end, and then you throw in Lefty.
Yes. And speaking of which...
Huh? Well, if Fresh Powder's going, I better give him a hand.
Yeah, I better give him a hand.
I didn't notice.
Wow. I thought it was obvious. Anyway, this is another example of me doing physical green screening. This is actually the first time. For those of you who are curious about how I did the green screening, I actually have this sort of blue blanket that I have on hand, and I just sort of laid it down on the floor and just sort of recorded my hand with Lefty there. There's actually a bit of a blooper there where I sort of... There's a blooper titled Lefty Without Makeup On, and I sort of brought my hand into view, but Lefty didn't have his eyes, so I was like, ah! I'm blind! I'm blind!
I really like what you've done with Lefty is the edges are fine. Like when you see my first two tribute videos to you,
Yeah.
I've still got some little green sections, and obviously my my snakestaff's eyes are emerald green, so sometimes you can see that they disappear, which is a bit of a concern for the next one, to be honest. But hopefully I can get around that.
If you can get a blue screen, you know, you can cancel out the green.
Come, my allies.
By the way, any scene that Lefty is, any scene that I record with Lefty sort of affects the entire frame. Like, oh, he's recorded somewhat to the right, so that means I'm gonna have to keep everyone out of the right so he's not obscuring anybody's view or position, you know.
Okay.
So yeah.
We're going on a little trip to have some real fun.
For those of you who are curious, the real fun part actually comes from Death Battle, where Pinkie Pie actually battles against Deadpool, and instead of fighting, they ultimately wind up jumping through other death battles until eventually they find a video where the Death Battle cast are in live action, and Deadpool says, I think it's time we had some real fun. And I think it works because, you know, snakestaff magic is mostly live action, and so, real fun, it works.
I like it, even if people hadn't seen the reference like me, it added to making it epic. It was quite good.
You think you can imprison me, snakestaff? Well, I have an army. You have an army. Let's settle this.
And then he snorts like a horse because I don't know what giraffes say. All I know is that they say from a certain YouTuber that giraffe says
Yeah, your horse sound effect didn't help your argument, but Fresh Powder's meant to be a giraffe.
Yeah. And that was Chapter 1. Thank you guys for joining us, and be sure to stick around for Chapter 2, where hopefully Dudley can explain quite a few things to me as well. So thank you for joining me, Dudley, for Chapter 1.
Yeah.
and we'll see you in time for Chapter 2. So, until next time, stay fresh. And anything else to say, Dudley, before we go?
Well, no. No, not really.
Alright. Alright, onwards to Chapter 2.